But who is Crissy Carter? As mentioned earlier, Crissy is a YouTube star and entrepreneur who has worked in hair and makeup for years. Crissy has her own makeup line, Watch Crissy Work, which aligns perfectly with her own personal brand. Crissy is the mother of 4 daughters, the first being from a previous relationship, and the younger 3 being the biological children of her husband, Cushane Carter. According to peopleprofile.org, Julianne Crissy Carter came from humble beginnings in the town of Linstead, St. Catherine, Jamaica. There, she developed the knack for hair weaving and quickly mastered the art with her friends and family as beneficiaries of that knowledge and expertise. She was an avid YouTube watcher, not just for the music, but for viewing videos related to hair and makeup, and she quickly transitioned that knowledge into her repertoire. Crissy became so well versed in applying these skills she developed that she had people outside her regular group of friends and family knocking at her door regularly to get their hair and makeup done. Crissy was not satisfied with this, as these skills she had learned on YouTube drove her to develop a YouTube page to highlight, advertise, and share the gift she developed on social media. This was the beginning of her moniker, Watch Crissy Work. The success gained from that YouTube channel encouraged Crissy to push harder and become a huge success with her over 200,000 followers and eventually into the creation of her own makeup line of products, which she aptly named Watch Crissy Work. In early 2023, the Carter family were dragged through the social media spotlight following an exposed affair that Cushane Carter was alleged to be having with a young Jamaican woman called Shani. CMR's alleged mistress Shani spent hours online speaking about their affair and sharing his voice notes and the private details of their relationship. While Cushane initially denied these allegations and attempted to brush the whole thing off as a prank, he eventually addressed the situation publicly in a confessional apology video. Naturally, CMR's conduct was met with a lot of critique, matched only by the ongoing critique of his wife Crissy, who eventually took him back in a bid to protect her marriage and keep her family together. The infidelity did tarnish their brands somewhat, and many viewers expressed how they felt repulsed by CMR's conduct and consequently would no longer watch and support the Carter family channel. However, the majority of their loyal and die-hard fans remained steadfast and committed, while CMR and Crissy continued to create content for their respective channels. They say all publicity is good publicity, and although initially CMR may have lost some sponsorships and support, things appear to have stabilized in their favor, even with the ongoing whispers in the social media and literal streets. Whether the allegations are true or not, it can be said that his conduct is highly concerning, questionable, and speaks to the potential presence of not only PDF, but also a potential antisocial personality disorder. Welcome, blessings, good evening. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Linnea, and you are tuned into my channel, The Feminine Mind. And it is lovely to have you here today. I'm going to be speaking about what Crissy Carter's response to Cushane Carter's arrest reveal about her psychology, values, and morals. But before I do so, I'd like to welcome all of the new subscribers to my channel. Thank you so much for your support. Shout out to Oh My God TV. I really appreciate it. And thank you to however you ended up here. Thank you so very much. I give thanks and praises. So today when I come, I realized I had a conversation with a friend recently, and he was speaking about roles and why he doesn't really like roles, you know, like teacher, mother, priest, this, that, because he was explaining that people can become so like tied up in their roles, which I definitely agreed with. And I realized that today when I do this video, I'm not doing it from a space of a role, because this topic, like, first of all, I hope you all are okay if I never said that already. And also, I apologize for being late.
I apologize for being late. I apologize for rescheduling the live from last week. I had to reschedule it, and then I had taken down all of my equipment. So I was a few minutes late because I had to quickly try and figure out, what comes next. But I do really appreciate your support, you being here, those of you who've been checking out the videos. The last video of which was 2 weeks ago. And I actually do have a weekly live. It's every Thursday. So catch me back here next week, Thursday. Okay. I just remember there was one screenshot. I was trying to get some visuals. There was one screenshot that I didn't get, but maybe I can find it, or if not, for another video, right? But basically, I'm not coming here in any capacity in this specific video and generally than from I am a woman in my physical. I know they say gender exists on all realms. Any subject that I speak about, it definitely is because I relate to that subject in one way or another. But when it comes to this particular subject of Crissy Carter, Cushane Carter, I know you can sense it in me, both in my documentaries and live. I tread very lightly because what I found is that this virus, this social virus, I don't even know if I can say that. Every week I come and say this disease essentially within society is so prevalent. And the reason why Crissy Carter is coming under scrutiny is because now we have social media. Before you would hear like your parents, your aunties, speaking about these things. And what I found coming up in Jamaican culture is that there's two, I don't know if I say it, like there's not that there's two sides to the truth, although if it's a truth, there's not really two sides to it. I don't know about all that. I have to check. Yeah. But basically, you can have a family, like, for example, in my family, my mother was very pro-woman. Do you get what I'm saying? And so I read a lot of literature growing up in Mandeville. I was taking out my mother's big woman books and reading. And there were a lot of what I would learn is feminist ideas, but really it's just human rights, right? Because just so you know, it's called the feminine mind, but I'm not a feminist. Okay, right, cool. So I noticed that even in my family, where it seemed to be something you could speak about, which is taking advantage of children, whether it's a father, a brother, an uncle, a brother's best friend, the neighbor, the teacher, do you understand? It seemed on paper that, yes, we are against these things, but when it actually showed up in the family, the family was totally different in real life than on paper. And that's the reason why I tread this topic carefully, because I know the world is full of survivors, okay? I even felt moved to say this before I was coming live. This is so strange, but I'm going to say it for someone who may need it now or in the future, right? Sometimes with your parents, if you have issues that you have with your parents, not every time, but a lot of the times, they were abused. They were in one way or another, whether it was physical, sexual, emotional, mental. So sometimes that can help you to slowly but surely get over some stuff, because obviously in the Crissy Carter situation, what we actually have is someone who is in the spotlight for having a family, okay? So all the family members are involved. I was aware of them way before this happened, right? So it's not that them just come up from nowhere like that. I should be tired and I'm going to speak English, right? So because the child went to the police, and I am going to come back to the video I was playing because I have to be mindful. Some people might not know what this is about. So essentially this is about a lady called Crissy Carter, who's married to Cushane Carter. She's a YouTuber and a makeup entrepreneur, which I did show at the beginning. Okay, so you can always go back and watch that. Her daughter, I try not to call her name, but everyone knows who her name is, and they keep putting her name in the comments. But her, just because she's a minor, you know, I'm like, out of respect for her, but not that I think saying her name is disrespectful, because actually that's what this is really about. Do you get what I'm saying? So her daughter went to the guidance counselor at the school one day and essentially told them that the husband, who is not her biological father, right, but her by marriage, he's her stepfather, that he had taken advantage of her. And she described, which I played in the last video, you can go and check it out. Yeah, he got arrested. She explained very detailed accounts. I didn't want to bring that video here today. I think I feel more sensitive today. That's what's going on. So because I feel more sensitive, I have to take time with the conversation, because I appreciate like the fire that has been relentless as far as I can see. But the reason why people are so offended by this issue is because this is such a prevalent issue. So essentially you have a daughter who reports the stepfather to the police for lewd and lascivious molestation, right? He is charged. She says there's a camera, but the camera doesn't record any footage. He says there's a camera, you know. Her story is extremely detailed, and his story is essentially, he like turns the whole story on her, and he says that basically she was troubling herself, and that's when he came in and said go to bed or some whack foolishness. Yeah. So I've come here in a very meek capacity, because I noticed that I have spent a good portion of my life being an ambassador for Jamaican culture. Do you understand? Like, I love Jamaica. I love many things about Jamaica. I was blessed to have the opportunity to grow up in Jamaica. Do you understand? I didn't realize how blessed I was until my family migrated to the UK. And that's when I realized, you know what, I always missed Jamaica for so much years. I kept on going back home. I took my daughter back home. I put her in school there. You understand? Like, basically, I am not a stranger to my culture, and I love Jamaica. And I think because I'm on different platforms on social media, one is more music focused. I usually post a lot of Jamaican stuff, especially, well, reggae, especially on my Facebook. Okay. But obviously here, I'm just talking, and some of you will be like, well, who is this lady? So first and foremost, Carl, I know that people with their weird comments just always want to attack from one angle or the other. But I say this for this video and for all other videos. And big up my sister who inspired me to say this. I am a very one-away lady. Do you understand? I love the Most High. I love my family and all blessings that have extended from those areas. I appreciate the support so much. However, I'm not here to be liked, because I know that some days I might say something that you're like, yo, we don't agree with that. Do you get what I'm saying? But I do hope that we can reason. Do you get what I'm saying? So if there's something you're not sure about, we can reason about it. So I say this to say, I have a right to speak up about this issue. I had the fortune, or sometimes it felt like misfortune, to have many different experiences with friends, friend from high school in a Manchester High, friend from high schooling in a Hurlingham and Chelsea in London, friend from Chase, friend from college, literally, friend from university. Every realm of academics or every workspace that I've gone into, I have literally come across women who want to tell me, this is what I went through. This is what I went through with my dad. This is what I went through with my mother. My father used to have, this is deep. Yeah. My father used to have one restaurant in Mandeville called Reed's. It was like, I mean, Nowadays, I'm thinking they sold veg. Do you get what I'm saying? But they also sold like, I'm thinking because it was like red, gold, and green. Do you get what I'm saying? But they did sell steamed veg and cooked veg and whatever. But I'm sure they sold like brown stew chicken festival, you know, fried fish, whatever. And at that restaurant, there was this man that my father used to hire lots of different guys, obviously, to do different runnings. And this man, yo, that man named Shatina. And this man was the first time in my life that I found out that a father could make his own child bring forth life. You figure that out. And I remember being really shocked, like, who on there? You understand? I remember I must have been like 12 now, you know. And what I was shocked about is he did get fired. I remember that, but we used to see her sometimes, right? But I used to wonder, so why aren't the men, the fathers, you understand? How come they have this man walking up and down on the road when they know full well that this daughter, her belly is well full? You see that? That's a dirty and mess up part of my culture. And so culture means it's shared. It's a shared thing. It's not a one-away thing. That's your lifestyle. Do you get what I'm saying? So those of us who want to turn our eyes to it, what I've realized is anything that starts anywhere goes everywhere. And that's why even if it's down to migration, even if it's down to, like, for example, Crissy and Cushane, they're from Linstead, right? Them migrating to Florida. But this is how it works in our culture, because I'm focusing on my culture. Do you get what I'm saying? The way how it works is you travel out of the country and you bring a lot of things. And a lot of things that you bring as an immigrant, right? Depending on what time period you're coming in. Yo, it's major. You bring like all of your recipes from Jamaica, do you get what I'm saying, to the country that you're going to. You're going in the supermarket looking for things that, you get what I'm saying? Like you bring a lot of things. Sometimes that part of the culture, it shows up wherever there's like dense Jamaican areas or black areas, you're going to find a Jamaican restaurant. Understand? Wherever certain like nightclubs, they might sell some Jamaican beer. Yeah. You go into the shop, you hear, I don't want to mention the artist, but you hear like one mainstream reggae artist. You go into the next shop. Do you get what I'm saying? You hear, these are the things that we bring. With the music is different, but not so much because reggae never just takes place in Jamaica, right? Okay. But what you also bring is, I'm from country. When we used to come home from school, we had white shirts, right? So we have to use some blue soap. Do you get what I'm saying? Soap up the color, scrub it out. Okay, I remember when I moved to England and I was still at the end of high school, what them called secondary school. And I was staying with, let's not say, I was staying with someone like an extended family member. And they said, how come your color looks so black? Like, what? And I realized, even though they brought the rice and peas for the Sunday, you understand, they had lots of things that I knew, yeah, this is Jamaican culture. Them never bring that part there. And true, because I'm from country, yeah, it's not, I don't think, I've lived in town. Everyone knows town and country is not the same thing. So you can't be going to school with no, even if you come from town, that never work. So we bring different things and we bring all of the issues that we had. And that's what's happened with Crissy and Cushane. Because when I used to watch them, I've seen them traveling, or one of them travel, the big reveal, the Vienna sausage, you get what I'm saying? The mackerel, just the KFC, like all the stuff of the culture. That's the food part. Then you got the music, you might have the religious component as well. And then you have all of that stuff. So in the UK, just so you know, there are some prime areas, well, you know this, where Black people live everywhere, but you have densely penetrated communities also, right? So wherever you go, I'm not being funny, but wherever you see someone of Caribbean heritage, because that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Jamaican and Caribbean, just so you know. Yeah, not just Jamaican. This is Jamaican and Caribbean, because once I come to England, I know that in Jamaica, I was learning about the islands. You know what I mean? The Lesser Antilles and the Greater Antilles. But when you come to, like, I was in London, West London, North London, you know, Grenada, Dominica. It's just, my mind is already blown. Like, I didn't meet anyone from Cuba until much later. Martinique, Anguilla, Antigua, Bahamas, which is a bit further out, Guyanese, St. Croix, you know, it goes on, at Barbados. You meet all the other people from the Caribbean right here in London. And then, obviously, like, I was in my mid-teens, so that's you're very open, very easily influenced, and very influenceable. You know what I mean? And that's when I found out. And within the first few years of coming to the UK, the amount of ladies who unfortunately could be like what Chrissy's daughter would grow to become. Do you get what I'm saying? They came and told me, this is what happened. This is what happened. So before I was 20, before I was even 12, I was aware something is wrong. So let's talk about what Crissy Carter, thanks for that feels like the introduction, you know. So I thought this was going to be a short video, but we'll see. Crissy Carter responded to Cushane Carter's arrest. Now, I may not have the full everything, because at some point I definitely could not cope with this whole stuff anymore. And that's why you'll notice that even in my documentary, some things people are like commenting, which I really appreciate, saying, oh, this is this. And, you know, so I don't think I put in the documentary that Crissy, she engaged with the media for a bit, not a lot, but I remember her saying at some point earlier on, yes, this is true. You know, this is what's happened. He's been arrested for this. But as soon as the case was dropped, or soon enough, you know, this just happened recently, the family reconciled, and Cushane was brought back into the family home with not only the daughter who had made the allegation, but his 3 biological daughters. And this is the serious division now, because it's one thing whatever the police can say or what they can prove, etc. But the safeguarding for someone in that position goes beyond just legal prosecution. Do you get what I'm saying? This should be reflected in the decision that Crissy has to her daughter, Jay, because essentially that's her biological child as well. So even though legally they would both be equal parents, I'm guessing, but Jay is Crissy's biological child. So the first issue is that I learned after I made the documentary that she or CMR had come forth and explained that the daughter had confessed. I don't know if it was to the police, coming to see upon the police report, but the daughter had confessed to Crissy or whoever that what she said isn't true. And she was recanting her statement. Give thanks. Blessings, Dolores. Welcome. Don't worry what people won't say. I think that you're fierce. Thank you. What's up, Jungle Silver? I don't know what cantamulto mean. What does that mean? I'll just show it. Okay, so if Crissy hadn't taken Cushane back, but continues to have a relationship with Cushane, which is an option. Like, people need to remember we have options in life, right? It might be a bit difficult, but if she was so torn, I still think keeping the family apart, people would have, let's be clear, people, like, we are all people, right? So whether you agree or you don't agree, whether you care or not, a lot of people were upset about it. So because they were upset about it, I think this is what Crissy's issue essentially is, because I've seen her on TikTok. Not that I was on TikTok. There's a brother on YouTube who was playing. I'll have to get the names for another day, right? I've seen Crissy being so rank on the camera. I'm thinking, don't you have a child-related brand? I've seen her like literally being, I don't know what it is about our culture. It's like we don't have boundaries. If something is for children, the adults can't be putting out too much adult-natured content. It's corruption, it's sickness. So the problem with the brand specifically is because all of this police reports and all of the discussion around it, the arrest, the charges, the allegations, this is a terrible shift from what should be a family-friendly show. But I've seen Crissy online, not on YouTube, but on TikTok, being very family-unfriendly. And so because I actually want this to have some impact, I would always recommend start to think about those who are around you. As I said, my family on paper seem to be quite open to women's rights, human rights. But actually, when it comes to it, Crissy Carter's response was so typical. People were just waiting. They were just waiting to see, is she going to take him back? Because a lot of people already had their minds made up. Do you get what I'm saying? So they were like, let me just hold on and just wait and see. Anyone should take him back. And because they have renounced the allegations as a lie, yeah. The other thing is, I did watch Oh My GGG. I hope that's enough. Real Talk TVs. I watched some of her videos, which I found very, very... I'm going to do some videos where I'm not coming on camera, by the way. Yeah, I was like, that's such a vibe. You know what I mean? Yeah. So she was explaining how Crissy essentially, I think it was someone in the comments, like saying, sorry, I have to put my charger in, saying that if you comment something, like she'll ask for comments, and then if you comment something dread, she'll delete it. Like, I'm not being funny. Like, if I see some foolishness, because I have a couple trolls that I've spoken about. Yeah, I've got a couple trolls. I have to make my trolls earn me some money. Earn me. Blessings, work one. Marie. Marie's a supporter of my music, which I really appreciate. How you doing? One love to you too, darling. So, okay. When at this point, okay, I don't want to bring labels into it. Because of my work, etc., it turned from hearing about the stories of the young girl children being taken advantage of. It turned from that to now it's teenagers. Do you get what I'm saying? Now couple ripper bulla go around the place. That you get what I'm saying? Now it's this person and it's in their families, in their family. I myself saw that take place in my family. Like, this is in my teens. Do you get what I'm saying? I realized the islands, yes, we have distinct differences, but, you know, we're Caribbean people, right? The islands have a thing where you have a lot of women, both in the Caribbean and outside of the Caribbean, that have faced exactly what Crissy Carter is doing to her daughter. But the agonizing part of it is what Crissy is doing. There's clear narcissism there, because there's not even enough empathy for this child to say, you know what? I don't know what's happened here, but this is like the apex, right? Isn't this the apex of a threat for your child? Apart from the building I crashed on. You understand what I'm saying? So let me just split. Let me just raise up the babies for a while till you leave home, if she just believes that it's just towards her daughter. Because what's going to happen when her younger daughters that are his biological daughters, what will happen when they grow up? So this is a thing. And I also know, I'm not being funny, this thing is happening everywhere in Africa, in Europe, in Australia. Like there's many similar stories. I'm not, you know. So the mothers, even though they know whether it's their man, whether it's their brother, an uncle, instead of standing up and putting their bodies over their children's bodies, which parents are called to do, which is like, I'm going to protect you, even if I have to sacrifice my life. You know, maybe we don't have to have, maybe we just need time, like just do something. So it reveals that psychologically there's narcissism there. And I think, I don't know, like, I definitely think, because it's easy to just say, okay, CMR, because yes, he deserves all forms of blame for what he's allegedly done. But with Chrissy, something is not right. And I don't know what Chrissy experienced, and I have empathy if that's the case. But when you can't see beyond your own nose, you get what I'm saying? You can't look towards your daughter. What I find really, really, really strange, and I don't know if it's just me, right? So when you're watching now or later after, if you guys come back and watch this, right? I don't understand why that little girl is still in their reality show. Don't you think that's creepy? I'm just like, when have I ever, not that I really watch reality shows, to be honest, but I've watched a few. When have I ever watched a reality show where, and this dad of this stepfather was the little girl got to the school and said, basically, yeah, ring the alarm. So within our culture, I used to think, growing up, hearing about men doing this to women, I used to think, man, all the men are wicked, so. And through my personal life journey that I've spoken about in previous videos, I got to realize a big upholder of the abuse of children are women. And oftentimes it's more likely that the woman is not the perpetrator against the child directly, but the woman is the perpetrator against the child indirectly. So because this is so public, I think even more, like to set examples for so many families who need to see a mother essentially decide, okay, this is just too messy. Like I have a limit. Do you get what I'm saying? Like I have a limit. This is the limit. It's going to be shame whether you stay together or not. She didn't do it at the end of the day, but she becomes, to me, criminal minded. Not only is she issuing a statement, oh, the girl was lying. To me, if the girl is lying, she needs counseling. Like, she needs counseling, because what has she been exposed to that would make her want to, what's going on? You're just going to say, oh, the girl's lying. And you understand what I'm saying? So some space there. But the reason why Chrissy cannot do this is what I found with most stories and personal experiences. Oftentimes the woman is being taken care of by the man. Now, I told you I'm not feminist, but I do think everyone needs to know how to take care of themselves so that if push comes to shove, do you get what I'm saying? A lot of women have had to leave very, very, very vile and violent relationships. That's just part of life. I actually have a male friend. He never watches my content, but he experienced some DV from his ex, and he was so thrown about it. And I was trying to explain to him, like, I know as a man you must feel this even worse, you understand, but this is a part of life. Not for everyone, but given the numbers, you know, a lot of humans are exposed to some form of violence. So you get what I'm saying? if there isn't a reason to be like, okay, I'm not going to give any bad advice. But if you can't get passionate for your children, who are you going to be passionate for? When the mothers or the wives, the aunties, whoever it is, sides with the man, it is highly destructive, short term and long term. So can Chrissy actually love? So to me, the reason I wanted to make this video, I'm going to share another clip. I really wanted to highlight, I want to put this in the narcissistic series. You can watch that if you feel like it. If you are not capable of having the love that you need to see beyond your own self, do you get what I'm saying? What did Chrissy think was really going to happen? You see how love is the easiest way? Did she think? All right, let me tell you why I'm saying that. I don't post on social media often. I'm trying to fix that. I will fix it when I'm ready. I've been posting on TikTok maybe about a week ago. Every time I post on TikToks, I'm so sorry, by the way. I'm coming down with a cold. 1 second. Let me cough. I'm going to fight it, but I can feel it, like, you know. So where was I? Sorry. I can't remember exactly where I was, but I can continue. The love component of someone's soul and your spirit can love because it comes from love. When it comes to being a parent, when it comes to being a mother, and yes, we are all human, because remember I said I'm not coming from any role. We are all human. Things can happen. Things can happen inside of your house that you regret how you respond to. And I understand that. But the family, I remember what I was saying, the family are not just trying to continue. There's this energy like, oh, be careful what you say because they will come after you and all these foolishness because we're big, but I'm a big woman. Do you get what I'm saying? I don't know who's watching. When I post on TikTok, I see always some rando. One of them has even followed me. It's like user, them not even bother change the username, right? User number, whatever. When you go to the profile, it's like ridiculous. Like they're following 50 people. It's clearly a new account and it's a dud account. Who are these people from Chrissy and CMR's camp that literally like they still at top about this? Like it's always some foolishness. I wish I had sent the pictures over. I even posted them on my community. I posted one set of them. If you go on the community post, yeah, but there's been more. And you know, I'm no see them, which is so unintelligent. When they comment and I say, okay, Chrissy, wagwan, or bless up, CMR, thanks for contributing, because what else would I say? You know how I know it's them? Whenever I say that, they go quiet. And I'm thinking, are you dumb? Like, if you really, really didn't want me to think it was you, you would say, no, 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 but you just gone quiet. That's so pathetic because basically, way before I started doing these videos, my first set of documentaries that I've done, I was watching a lot of true crime. And I was like, yeah, I like this true crime genre. So essentially, when it comes to, oh, this allegation was made, that is something that people can pull up at any time. 5 years later, like, okay, let's talk about this case because it's got a case number. Do you understand? And so values. So I want to talk about the values and morals because the psychology is different, although they do influence one another. Obviously, if you have like but some mental health conditions, it's not really about your morals and your values. Do you get what I'm saying? It's about what's going on. So I pick up narcissism. I don't really know what's going on. I know that there has been attacks between CMR and Crissy, but no see them fight and whatever. So sometimes remember say you don't really know what's going on, but seeing that escalated to the police, so it's very likely say this is going on. I also empathize for her because he brought her up to Florida. And so she might have some weird complex, like because they've created so much, she's not able to see beyond, like as much as to others, it could look like, oh, you've got so much opportunity. But to her, it could just be a net, like she can't even see beyond that. So, which is weird because I know she has her own brand, her own product line and stuff like that. But again, don't know what's going on behind closed doors. And I find that women more than men, but women who've been brought up, like to England, for example, I've heard some bad stories, but the ones who I know, they're very, very loyal. Even if they're not still in a relationship with the Jamaican man that brought them up. You understand? They're loyal because that person, I think that's why I'm like, I think that's going on with her. Like, I understand that. When someone brings you up and you never had no way to come out of Jamaica, if you have something about you, your heart always like go have that loyalty to that person, because goodly, some of these ladies, obviously when they came up, they changed their whole life. They brought up all their family. This is like massive generational changes that they were experiencing. So I don't know what's happening, but I know that her values are poor. And the reason why I would say that is any value system that's not based upon child safety comes first. Yeah. Any value system that's not based upon that. You see, I remember, I think it was her last pregnancy. I saw, was it the shower? The shower, the baby shower. So obviously you can't see a long time. I'm gonna watch them, but I am going to watch a couple videos because what I saw OMG Real Talk TV talking about, I was like, yeah, you need to go and actually have a look and see what Crissy is doing. But I basically feel that the values that says that children come second to anything, really. Like the bottom line is you can go to a woman's refuge and you don't have to put yourself in that position. So it shows that because there is most likely this maligned loyalty, I don't know what's going on there. It could just be love. It could just be love. And there's nothing wrong if she has love for him, but because these are human things, right? So the love what she have for him can't eclipse. And I know sometimes in relationships, men and women get into it because the man is like, do you love the child more than me? But these are minors. So a child's survival and safety. Do you get what I'm saying? Now, what I really liked, because I had already made the documentary and then I had to change it because all the stuff that I said, it changed. So when I did the original documentary, I had said, we're all waiting. Come on, do it from last year. No, I started. We are waiting to hear what the outcome is going to be. And I was talking about how I looked up that if CMR was caught guilty of that crime, it would have been some big sentence, not no liquor sentence. So I was like, okay, let's wait and see what happens. And I made some little warnings, like we have to watch how Crissy moves. So it was almost like goat mouth. You get what I'm saying? Like, oh, exactly what I said. She's done that. So coming back to the baby shower was, I love stuff like that. Yeah, it's like my little pink part of my life, I remember it was beautiful. But let me tell you about the values and morals. I know that it's a very success-driven, money hungry society that says that, the more you have or the more abundance and luxury that you can show that you have. If you have a an unsafe child in your house and you haven't made that child safe, what you have, what you can show, what you do from what you now do is absolutely nothing. And I think this is where we have a wider issue in Jamaican culture, because as we know, if we go into the island of Jamaica, I don't know who's watching, right? Certain people, based on the relationship they might have, if them data, nah, bro. Like, I'm not saying this never happens, but I know for a fact that most women would never, as a young teen, go to the police station in Jamaica and say that most of the women that I came up around that were telling me these stories, they never told anyone. That's why they wanted to tell me, because they must have realized, you know, I've got some empathy, but they didn't tell anyone. Do you understand what I'm saying? So remember, this is Florida now. And that's why I was kind of like, let's see how this plays out, because it could be that because they're in Florida, you know, it goes to court, but obviously it's the law of the land. And I don't know what kind of evidence more than the girl saying that happened. So maybe that's a warning, because the police, yeah, they give you a warning, but let anything like that come up again. So I find that sometimes in Jamaican culture, because, all right, there's been so much change in Jamaica every decade, yeah. But sometimes I think that as a culture, we have high self-esteem in some things, you know, we're humans, right? And low self-esteem in other areas. And oftentimes, the low self-esteem is linked to success, financial success specifically. No one is having low self-esteem to health success. You get what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's not even family success, literally. Yeah, what success would be linked to low self-esteem in Jamaica? We have so many things that we can, you know, tell a stranger about, so many really just sacred and beautiful parts of our culture. But when we have a culture where money, yeah, is looked at as being of, because remember we're talking about values, you know, what do you value? How can you value anything above child safety? Do you think some gorillas are going to allow them kind of risks to come to their child? Gorillas. Do you think that the chimpanzee would allow that to happen to their child? So, we as a human, and we're like, yes, we are the apex being, intellectually at least, on the planet. But yeah, it's in our societies that's them. Like, I'm sure there's parts of the animal kingdom where that happens, but I haven't seen it yet. That's what I'm saying. You go and try and trouble a lioness's cub. So something has happened where that natural female, I'm going to protect energy has been, you get what I'm saying? Maybe I just need to survive. And this, I'm not going to be judgy. This is a situation that a lot of women find themselves in because maybe they do need to survive. What Chrissy is showing in her values is she, like, may the Most High cover their family. I'm being serious, you know. What kind of example is that for 4 young girls, 4 daughters? What kind of example is that? You could be ruining 4, 5, whole heap of different generation because you show your daughter say, when this happens, this is how we respond. You understand? So that's showing that she's short-sighted. And for me, there's a deep lack of intelligence because I don't know, like, no, I wouldn't say that. I never thought that before. I never said, oh, look, Panda, you get it. No, you understand? But to think, remember, Social media wasn't about one time. Do you get what I'm saying? And remember, YouTube just had Hollywood dog and cat video. This is 2025. So what I find is some of the injustices that happen with children in Jamaica happen because even the police system is weak. It's weak. So some children are able to get help through the police system if they get blessed that time. And that's true. And most can't. And many women don't even bother going and report it. Now I was saying this before, you go to a certain police and you don't know that police and whoever you're reporting are brethren. That's a simple something. Because corruption exists everywhere. That's a simple something. So I don't even know if, for example, if the Jamaican police took the child and did forensics and was like, something's wrong. Maybe the child don't want to go to wherever they might have to take them. Or maybe, I don't know. Do you get what I'm saying? So as a base value, coming from Jamaica to any kind of other country around the world, yeah, because there's many and Jamaicans are everywhere, you come in thinking, in my culture, in Jamaica, which is part of who I am, these things, you just brush them under the carpet and go pray. And me now not praying, but you still have to take actions, okay? Now, in regards to her morals, I think, you know what it is? I'm trying to not come up here and just cuss her off. I think Chrissy is loose. I don't think Chrissy can grasp long term what has happened in this happened last year, November last year, let's just say in the last year. Sometimes you have to be willing to be crushed like a diamond so you can fully rise up. I am not anti-marriage and I'm definitely not anti-man. And I know a lot of sorry, there's a lot of talk of women don't need men and society would be better without men. I don't know what kind of weird society that would be. It sounds like an absolute nightmare. Not that I don't have my friends, you know, my female friends, but do you understand? So the marriage is fine. I understand. Again, values could mean that essentially you're not supposed to mash up your marriage. That could be their values or her values that she has. Values could be that you haven't created financial independence, or maybe you don't have a vision beyond this situation, which, to be fair, makes sense because it feels like, okay, I'm coming live every Thursday, yeah? It feels like, for me, this is a lot of energy. It's a lot. Do you understand? And because I'm an artist, I understand when you have to be in that high tech kind of mode. You're up and doing everything morning till night. You're in a sleep all 2 day. Like, I know that very well. But it only works because it's a season. Do you get what I'm saying? So what I find is that when I was even looking at the different channels, etc., I was like, these lot, what are you doing? Are you just sitting down pushing out content from morning till night? Not in a negative way. I was just like, hold on. So your whole life, like, and I'm not going to tell anyone not to monetize their life. That's the next thing. I'm not going to say that, but when you open up your door to people, yeah, because you know, if someone makes a video, someone else can discuss it. When you open up your door to people, you can't expect for them to see something so atrocious, like the daughter reporting the stepfather to the guidance counselor and up go to the police. You know, I didn't even know until that time that this happened. I didn't even know that she wasn't his biological daughter, you know. Because I had watched them, but like I'm not, you know, I don't know every little thing like that. So I would say, I think narcissism is very present. I think it shows that, I don't want to repeat something I said in my documentary, but one thing it does show is how we value our girl children. In our culture, that's one thing it does show. Now, I just want to say, like, I understand shock, because is it true to me that woman? I'm a raised family, but I understand not everything that you can't plan for everything. That's the whole thing. But what, you know, them always say, one, prevention is better than cure. That might have been why there was a camera in the girl's bedroom. I'm not joking. But two, you know, in life, you can't control anything. Nothing you can't control, you know? Like, you can't control most things. And because you can't control most things, the most powerful thing you actually bring to any given table is your choice. So, you know, she has the choice to stay. She has the choice to leave. She has the choice, but oh no, the camera was there to spy on the girl. What does that mean? Sorry, I get you. Exactly. Why was the camera? So the camera was there to spy at the girl. I think she was 13 at the time. Sorry, by the way, for the coughing. If you just come around, I'm like, you know, when you feel something, I come down, but I'm going to make one tea, you see? Yeah. Some garlic, some ginger, some lime, some vitamin C, some tinctures. I'm going to blast it out because I don't even have time. I'm trying to come back to my channel and it's like, no. So yeah, Donna, it says in the report that girl was sharing a room because there was a sister lying down beside her, right? And I understand, you know, it's the Alexa age that we're in. Although I don't like that thing. I think it's quite creepy. Like, hey Alexa. Yeah, you can leave me with that. That's why I don't have one. So in this time, you know, everything's so modern and people have front door cameras, back door cameras. I understand things have moved on. So, but what I understand is that you guys are obsessed with filming. You have 24-hour filming going on in your child's bedroom. And on top of that, yeah, I get up every day and I film. Right? And I don't know if this applies to them, but I did see some new laws coming. I watched this show on Netflix about a YouTube reality house that was young people in America. And boy, the stuff that went on there, some kind of like, I don't know how to say it, like a reality group of children. So because there were advantages and exploitation taken of the children, the United States, I'm not sure what states it would be, but you know, Florida, they can be quite serious about their children. When they're ready, they might bring in some laws like, if your child is working on your reality TV show, you have to show us where you're paying her. Like, because, you know, if this was a film, people be talking about children rights and all this stuff. So they're going to bring out some changes because obviously no one knew that YouTube was going to end up with some channels or 1 million subscribers watching children play. You get what I'm saying? So something like that as well. Like, I would be interested to know if Jay want another video them or not. Like, what's the rule with them? Do the children have a choice? Are they able to say, yeah, I don't really want to film this week? Or is this thing where they have to be in the reality show? What's really going on? And one thing, okay, you made a choice, Chrissy, but how can you be upset with other people's opinion about the choices that you've made? This is not one person's story. This is a lot of women's story. It would be so good for me to think, you know, say a long time, maybe I you know, I left when I was in my teens. Obviously, I've gone back and forth like living and holiday, depending on the years. Yeah. But I wish that is something that has changed. Do you understand what I'm saying? When we moved back, I moved back home in 2018, bro. I moved back home. I moved to Kingston because I thought, well, basically, I'm from Mandeville and part of my father's family live in Kingston. And I just thought, Mandeville boring, I may say, because I'm coming from London, I at least want some place. Do you get what I'm saying? That, there was something about growing up in Mandeville. For the parents, it wasn't great, but it was a great place to raise the children. I don't know what's going on. I know Mandeville's getting hot now, but anyway. The point that I'm trying to make is there are, to this day, these things still happening. When I went to live in Kingston, and let me tell you something, and I'm passionate about this. You know what? I'm gonna care who I mix. In my teens, so from I was like 8 all the way through my teens, I started hearing all the women's stories. But you see, when I hit my 20s, that's when I started to hit the male stories, because it was a myth that it was women only that were being targeted by family members in Jamaican culture and in Jamaica. They're two different things. So I met, I went into wellness and stuff, and I met several men who had been troubled by sister, by man, you understand, by pastor. That's the next one that blew my mind. The pastor. So this isn't just a slight issue. This isn't something to be playing around with. Chrissy has essentially demonstrated, I'm going to play this video for you, but I think, without dragging it out, this is the reason why so many women remember that even as children, they never felt safe. Why? Because even the women around them couldn't protect them.
Ongoing online debate also delves into Crissy, the victim's mother, with serious questions being raised in regards to whether Crissy previously knew about CMR's prior alleged misconduct with her daughter. The fact that the daughter reported the incident to the school and not to Crissy has alarmed many and brought Crissy under endless scrutiny for what part she may or may not have played in this situation. Crissy is being accused by some of knowing and hiding CMR's alleged pedophilic behavior. His extramarital affair with Shani is also being brought back into focus, as it provides examples of his poor character and choices, as well as Crissy's decision to remain married to him and to keep their family as a unit. It is being alleged that Crissy had ample opportunity to leave CMR with his cheating. She is being accused of causing this to happen by staying with him after he demonstrated that he would be of risk to her marriage and the well-being of her daughters. Additionally, the Popka police website shows a previous case with CMR that occurred in 2021. In this incident, the police were called to the house by Crissy, and she alleged that CMR had struck her several times with an open palm on her left cheek. The daughter, the same daughter who has reported CMR for abuse, corroborated Crissy's story to the police and denied CMR's counterclaim that Crissy struck him first. This information is telling, and many are not only seeing it as speaking to the abusive aspects of CMR's personality,
Sorry, I just realized I'm mute. My apologies. My apologies. Thank you. Thank you, darling. But I get no message. No, man. I forgot press. Yeah, I did that. I was having a drink when I came off. I thought, let me just mute it. So, what are doing OF? Are you serious? You sure? But you know what? I already mentioned this before, but within this context, like you have a family show, you have a makeup show. Why you need an after hours show? Like I can't remember what it's called, but I was just like, I think I still don't get me wrong, yeah. But I think some people don't understand branding. Like you can't, I'm just having a look for it. You can't, well, you can. People can do what they want, yeah. But if you have a channel you're showing children all the time, how do you end up having an after hours big woman and big man channel? This is so annoying. When I put Chrissy and Cushane YouTube after hours, you know what come up? All my videos. Like the top 4 of those videos are mine. That's interesting. Okay, after dark. What is your most embarrassing bedroom moment? I mean, I am not a prude. I am not a prude. Do you understand? But come on. You got children brand. They told the children if they want nice things, they have to participate. Yeah, I hope that they come through some laws and ease up on that. That's what it looked like, because I never really say them, like I haven't watched it for years. I never really see those children. I never see them going like, oh, I'm gonna upon that. But you know, like children, not every child is gonna have a camera focused personality. It's his affair with Cassie too, because he loved Cassie. Oh, I'm never know about that one day. Thank you so much, Miss San. Yes, positive. OF. So you're saying you're positive about that? Lord. If she had if she had left the man, she would be so much stronger. But I'm telling you, talk about some real life business. Like no one wants to go through certain things. But guess what? We are all human. And I noticed, like, especially the most, bravado kind of people, like, I've got this. Like, yeah, you've got this, but you're human. You would have experienced some trauma. You've either managed to fully heal, or it's a lifelong journey or a long-term journey, but you can't miss out of those areas in life. Do you get what I'm saying? So we go through things. This is the reason why I want to address this topic, because imagine for a moment if you put your consciousness in what you would think Jay's consciousness would be. Imagine a scenario like this. Let's just imagine that he is guilty. Not allegedly. Let's imagine that he's guilty. What's going on for her? Do you know how crazy that is? Like that is crazy. One minute. I miss it is. Oh, you know what's so crazy? I thought that said something else. It's the same message. So I hope that this video can let everyone have a think. Another thing is, even if I said earlier on, look, even if you have like dysfunctional parent issues or parent relationships, you would find that they were abused in one way or another, or maybe in several. I want to ask I want to do another documentary. I'm just not sure what to do it about. I was thinking to do a documentary about Queen Ifrica called Queen Ifrica, Daddy Don't Touch Me There, the documentary. Yeah, I might even reach out to her. Not that we are friends or I know her like that, but yeah, because I thought of Jay and then I thought of her and I thought, look at that contrast with Jay being a child and Queen Ifrica was a woman at the time, or a young woman. Do you get what I'm saying? So Oh, it's asking me to share something that I don't want to share. So here's the thing, like, because we're human, because stuff happens, I do think that marriage is something that should be honored. But there are apexes. People need to have, that's my boundary. You've broken it. We can't come back from that. Or just the discernment to say, you know what, I don't really know what's going on here, but let me just separate this man from the child. Even if it was only because it never looked good, because at least that way, she would feel more safe. If she had left the man, no, I keep bringing up the same thing, and ask her opinion on this situation. So, like, that's the thing. Like, how old is she now? 14, 15? So I'm like, bruh, a lot of people have said to me, yeah, man, wait till she come out and talk. Now, is it that we are just walking around thinking CMR is a, PDF? An interview with Mr. Vegas would be good also. You know what? It's funny you say that. I wanted to bring a lot more of his videos into my documentary, but I still haven't figured everything out about YouTube, to be honest. So I wasn't sure if I could use it. Even though I saw loads of people using it, I was like, look here, the documentary is taking me so long. What I don't want to do is put it out. And they're like, yeah, take it down, because obviously the content matter is already, on the questionable side. But yeah, because even the whole situation with Mr. Vegas, that was crazy. That was so crazy to me, especially because I have that in the documentary. I don't know if I just played it in these clips. One day, Mr. Vegas come out and said, this time I was like glued. One day, Mr. Vegas come out and said, oh, CMR reached out to him and told him, I have it on the documentary. I need to figure out how to bring in my YouTube so I can play it from the YouTube. I don't even know. He said that Mr. Vegas said that CMR said that one Trinidadian woman, I'm not saying this as lavish, I'm actually remembering, oh yeah, that part of the documentary, said that she caught him taking pictures of the child, reaching to wake up the child, something, not a picture part, reaching to wake up the child one morning, and she thought that he was doing something inappropriate. And then there was I don't even think that was a Trinidadian woman, because there was another woman that he was supposed to be having an affair with who found pictures of her daughter on his phone. What a trash. Well, you understand? Like, come on. Don't be trashy in life. Jay will never talk. Oh, no. She said Jay will never talk. They have bought her silence. Oh, no. Well, them more, make sure them can afford to pay for your silence, because what silence can do is cause serious issues later on down the line. I mean, I was saying, it's not that people just want to assume the worst about this guy, Their red flag for me is, it is like the after dark. What is your most embarrassing bedroom moment? 6, like one number, and then does body count matters? So what does that mean? That means that each video, so each video, you see what I'm saying? Like, you have to choose your lane. Are you doing slackness? Is there a bit of a perverse energy in your home? Because if CMR is perverse, there is a perverse energy in the home. These, oh my gosh, these are the titles. I can't even read some of these titles, right? In the dark or in the light. Have you ever fallen for your partner's friend or relative? Is side chick taken over from the wife? And trust me, I'm trying to read the ones that I think I can acceptably say, does body count matters? My gosh. Like, yeah, I think maybe if they had started an app, you get what I'm saying? It's like adults only, but it's a bit much. What? Hold on a minute. You know what? I know. I need to respond to the sister from OMG TV. If you watch this before I respond, please forgive me. I did message you. I want to talk to her because I realized something. I need to catch up. That's the only reason I need to catch up. No way. You know what? I'm not going to say no way like I had some big high up expectations. Like, who am I? You understand what I'm saying? These are some people that I saw online. But because I've already touched on the fact that I think that, of course, if CMR has committed this crime, whether there's evidence or not, because he could have committed it even if there's no evidence, remember that. He's a narcissist. Oh, watch me trying to figure it. Yeah, I don't get bipolar. Excuse me, maybe it's sociopath or something like that. Sociopathic narcissist. I don't even think he's a covert. I think he's an overt narcissist, point blank and period. You know why I'm saying that too? Because when the girl, not this Kazi person you mentioned, what's your name? Shani? Come here, my friend named Shani. Shani. When this whole thing came out about his affair, see, you know, sometimes, yeah, let me tell you something. You see this whole Bonner culture? Like, sometimes, how about just be a man? How about that? Like, how about just being straight up? Because it came out that he was having an affair. This is like a year prior to this stuff. And the man come out and lie and say it's a prank. Like, what kind of man is that? Like, are you a man? Are you a man? Why are you coming out and lying? Get a grip. Yep, he did commit it. There just wasn't enough evidence, unfortunately. And obviously, like, I know Chrissy is a lot of different people to a lot of different people, because Chrissy can represent someone's mom, their auntie, you understand? Maybe even their dad, who knows? Chrissy has a lot in common with my mom. I realized that. I was thinking, because I do think, I was like, I feel like putting out a video that says these are the 5 similarities between Chrissy and my mom. Because the attributes of supporting predators always looks similar. The supporting of predators from other women is something I would ask any woman that ever watches this live to cut that. That is something that it's a brainwash. It's not even natural. It means that you've been deeply conditioned mentally. You understand what I'm saying? To the point where the same way how the lioness, no one could trouble her cub, or the gorilla, or the chimpanzee. But now you, as a woman, you can't protect your child. You can't choose a female child over a male husband, son. You can't do that. And this is the reason why I bet you, I'm not a betting person, but 10 years, this will still be discussed, because culture and social media they're so close hand in hand. What happened with Chrissy and CMR, it gave us the opportunity to see something. I don't want to say televised because they're not on TV, but I watch YouTube on my TV. Do you get what I'm saying? So yes, televised. It was televised. It was broadcast. A lot of content. Some, I didn't realize there was a second affair. So some different issues happening. And then whoops. Some serious dark stuff which basically, because it's so popular within the culture, let me tell you something, if this wasn't so popular, no one would be upset. The reason why people are upset is because it's a, oh, you're one of those guys then. You understand what I'm saying? It's not like a kind of guy that no one's heard about. So sometimes, I wanted to tell my friend this as well. Sometimes women can sit down and raise their children and just say, you know what? I might have to sit out demanding. You get what I'm saying? Like right now, obviously we go through different stages, but that's a very respectable stage. And again, I'm not anti-marriage, but I'm also not lining up your child for issues that you, your own self, has in your own hand. And that's why I'm saying I think she's low intel, not because of, you know, I wouldn't say she's incredibly deep, but she's never said anything and I've thought, oh, you're so dunce, until all this stuff started to happen. I wasn't just sitting down, you know what I mean? I thought, okay, there are these kind of people, them stay like this, you know, when you know them kind of people, all right, I get it. Their children are beautiful. Do you get what I'm saying? And we're living in a time where people can't even maintain relationships. So I wouldn't be the first person to say, boom. But guess what? That child that needs your assistance, as dread as it can appear, is also protecting you from something. You need protection too from that guy, not just the young girl, but the head sick. Because how often do you see something like this in the media where, I mean, who is she modeling herself after? Your daughter come out and say this thing, your husband get arrested. He had to leave the house, charges press. He left the house, right? They never had no evidence. They dropped the charges. And you brought him back in the house. So that's why, I just saw, yeah, man, literally, that's why, this is the exact reason why she's becoming a synonymous player with the yam head. How is that cool? So it's clear. I knew that this was going to happen. It's clear that Chrissy is an enabler. You understand? It's super clear. When I made the documentary, it wasn't clear because he hadn't been processed beyond the arrest video. I should have bet some money because that's how stereotypical, the same way how, like, I mean, how many ways can you cook rice and peas? Sometimes it's Shelly. You get what I'm saying? So, you know, there's different ways, but you run out of, you know, you run out. Like, it's rice and peas, basically. And as one thing I love here, I love my food. I love Jamaican food. And I'm thankful that my culture has these amazing and quite healthy foods that I can prepare. I've always been very happy for that. That's what creates the paradox. Like, how can somewhere so, like, obviously I'm not even going into like the economy and politics, but we know there's a double-edged sword when it comes to Jamaica because there's all of this, but then there's all of that. And I think that's a very human space for us to be observing this from, like, not to take it personal, but why is this so prevalent? So I would like to say, one thing I've realized, we are very vocal in these generations. New generation, 80s upwards. New generation, 20s upward. 2000, sorry. Yeah, 90s, 80s upward, 90s upward, 2000s upward, vocal. The generations have become more vocal with social media. Yeah. One of the greatest things I love about social media is like WhatsApp, because I can speak to my family and my friends in Jamaica at all different kind of time. And I remember one time, if my dad Jamaica, I have to buy some package whenever you used to work, or just put on the digital credit. Or if I was here, I would have to buy the card and, you know, scratch off the numbers. So social media, in regards to staying in contact with people who aren't in the same country as me, is beautiful. But with the social media, because we're becoming more vocal, less willing to put up with every little thing, some things that we fight against as new generations, they don't need to be fought against. But there are some things that we should be absolutely, totally lacking tolerance for. And that is this kind of situation. Because we went to school, we may have seen it in our own families, we have seen it in extended families, schoolmates, teachers, all different kind of scenario. Work colleagues, you know, all areas of life. And the bottom line is, this is about trauma. And trauma is a debilitating thing, you understand? So it's destructive. So what's the opposite of destructive? Constructive. And of course, we want a constructive society, yeah, because we want to have a constructive range of generations coming out of Jamaica. In Jamaica, those who leave, a lot of us will always leave. I just saw the thing set up for now. In order to reduce destruction, we have to become more constructive. Do you understand? I struggle with Crissy. I struggle with Crissy's. I know this sounds so dread. I wasn't even planning on talking about this here. I don't know if I should. Maybe I'll do it in another video, but there's a few things about Crissy, yeah, that really, I was in shock. I was like, maybe this is why you did the documentary. This whole time I'm focused on CMR and then Crissy. I one day me just say, oh, she favor my mother, so like, not in her face, you know, but in a few actions, which is open the door back. Like, you know, that didn't happen with my father, but I've already explained. I want to start pinning the documentaries. You can go and watch them. I've already explained, like, what, if you watch Life After Death, it's a playlist. That will introduce you to why this channel existed in the first place. And it's funny because I was doing this Life After Death thing, but when you check it, who is usually associated with life after death is the Messiah, right? Do you get what I'm saying? But that's not, I wasn't even thinking about that when I was doing it. I was just thinking, you know, say, the generation them, me, my mother, my father, my grandparents, paternal, maternal, you know, say something I go on here, sir? Yeah. So when I see the wider Jamaican society as an extension of things that I've experienced in my home, and we're not as separate as, you know, we might think we are. So I do hope, like, I realize that people will be like, oh, this is old news. I think I said this before, but I'll say it again. This is not a like thing. You can't just say, I'll have one call. You get what I'm saying? I ask the Most High to guide me and come and talk some proper things, and not, it's not a waste time thing. This is, this channel was made to make documentaries when I thought that I could commit the amount of time needed to put documentaries out at the time. Today, just before I was about to start, I was like, I want this to be really informal. And I think I need my stuff to be quite informal. So when I take the time to go and do the documentary, you know, I just feel like, yeah, just keep it real with everyone. You know, so I'm talking to this man last year, and he said he's a, I don't know if he's born here, but he's British, Jamaican heritage. He said he doesn't know anyone, including his sisters. He doesn't know one female. Hear this, you know. he doesn't know one female who hasn't been assaulted. I was like, what? Not even one. Like, literally, I know women who haven't been assaulted. So I was like, he goes, yeah. And I said, well, surely you must know that there is a big problem then, because that's a very extreme thing for anyone to say. And he was like, no, I never thought about it that way. And I think he regretted saying that to me. But remember, some people within society of both genders care about themselves, their families, their communities, and the world. And some don't. But who is being raised with love right now that is being lined up unknowingly for a predator? You see, the negative forces just want to come and mash up someone's child, mash up their confidence. Do you understand what I'm saying? Mash up their self-esteem. CMR isn't thinking anything about that sort of stuff. He's just being used like a puppet. Do you understand? That level of trauma, as I said, I've come across both women and men who, as children, when I'm saying this, I'm not talking about adult SA. I'm specifically talking about as a child. I should say that because I have a varied story, so I have to be clear what I'm saying. How much men do you think would even come and tell a friend or a girlfriend, yeah, my pastor, my sister, my uncle, how many men? It's very rare. But not just because it's rare, that means it now go on. That's exactly what's going on. So please make some choices, because another thing is, I don't think for a second that Chrissy or CMR is going to be truly shifted by any opinion anyone shares. And that's also very narcissistic. Do you get what I'm saying? Because there's no space for reason. There's no space for empathy. But what I will say is, every child deserves safety. Every human deserves safety. But surely as an adult, you can know that a child deserves that much more safety, that much more everything, protection. And these are our children, unfortunately. And I'm just saying unfortunately because CMR, Chrissy, this is their biological child. Well, Chrissy's biological child. It makes me wonder, yeah, do you think that CMR knows he can do that to the child? Something about their dynamic, it makes me think, before one man go for trouble with one woman daughter, he'll be like, yo, let me see how she move with our daughter. You understand what I'm saying? Obviously, there's never 100%. This is a generalization. So clearly, he's sussed out the terrain. He's checked it out. Remember, he's a military guy. It's not like him to have no sense. I feel like my leg got a cramp. Hold on. Oh, that's better. And her needs are essentially, I don't think her needs are to be taken care of. I always thought she was quite an industrious woman. I thought, she seemed to be like doing her own businesses. She has style here. She had, you understand? She have products. So she doesn't come across as someone who just wants to be kept. But guess what? Part of the reason why I wanted to come in this kind of vibe today, or playing with my foot, is because, you see, the way that they've portrayed themselves is a little prison, and then they realized they were in prison when they wanted to go on with After Dark. They had realized, someone like a prison is, and I really would like to explore other things, and that makes sense too, that they would want to explore other things. But you introduce us to your child through a child's reality show. It's got 4 children in it, right? 4? Yeah, 4. And something like this happens, and that's okay. That means that the followers that we're following and, oh, blessings to you and your family, they were all fake. Because did they really care about the family? Or them just want to see something on the kitchen top? You get what I'm saying? Like, what's really going on here? What is it? So they have a saying, "Dup in no who for frightened," and I think that CMR allegedly has chosen his victims. He raised that girl. That girl never moved in with him when she was 13, 12, 10, even 6. So he raised her. And there are dynamics around, and I can never say all stepfathers. I have the utmost respect for all true blue stepfathers. Big up on herself. The predators exist in all areas of society. So that's the first important thing that we need to start with. So they take time. Like this isn't a guy that can't control himself. This is someone who's strategic, forward planning. You get what I'm saying? You can see it in their work. They're forward planning. He's strategic. So it's very likely, because the stepfathers who are predators, what they tend to do, the end of the day, I watch the child. Now you have different ones, because again, the sickness is diverse. Do you get what I'm saying? The sickness is diverse. So it's not a one size fits all, but you have a certain kind that will wait. And when a child reaches a certain age, maybe teens, young, like she's a young woman now, they want to try and get involved. But you got some others from day 2. So I know a lot of women don't want to hear like, yeah, you could raise your children or maybe leave and heal, and when you do that, when you feel ready, you can marry again. But it's really important, because guess what? Husbands are important, but choices live with you. You might make a choice and be so loyal to someone. Like Chrissy could do this for CMR. And watch her, not could. Chrissy doing this for CMR. How do you think CMR is going to, you think CMR is going to deal with her good in later life? Where do you think this is going? This is just another jump on the clearly, very rickety bus. And you soon see our next patrol. Let's see what Nikki is saying. The only reason why this case did not go further, there was another SA case in that county. At the time, that was before the prosecution. Oh, is it? That was more high profile. I never know that. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. I can't feel it enough. If I come off soon, because I feel like I get fever. Seriously. I'm like, whoa. I didn't know that, but I was rooting for the Florida police. I'm like, yes, watch his backside. Seriously, I was rooting. I was like, yeah. So I'm frightened to see all evidence. I'm like, come on. The camera's in the room, and the camera isn't even recording data. It's just like like a baby monitor or something. Come on, just lock him up, man, and let him go and do one for the team, because there's a team. You understand? How much do you think it is? Hundreds of thousands? There are many, many men out there who have done this, who haven't done no time for it yet. But I tell you this, every man, watch, in this life or the next, you have to deal with it. Hold on there. Oh, so the high profile other SA case was a white. Is it? You need to send me some information about that, because those things happen, especially in America. Not that I'm not saying England is any better, but those things do happen. Oh no, because I was thinking like, how much evidence you're gonna need? Is like, to me, that the law is kind of flimsy, because what you're saying is, okay, we can't do anything. You don't have any evidence. Just go on back home, go create some more evidence. Like, to me, I didn't understand, like, what else could Jay have done but what she did? What else could she have done? That's why it's sad to see Crissy being as whatless as many whatless. Like, just because you're ambitious in one area of your life, yeah, just because you're ambitious in business, right? You know, doesn't mean you're not working with whatlessness. It doesn't mean that. And I thought, come on, Crissy. I didn't have no hope for Crissy, and that's because of the affair. This is the, you can see, like, I know some stuff, I don't know a lot of stuff. Everything I'm saying is because I don't have no holy per too much over impression of them. You understand what I'm saying? I was like, I really would love to see Crissy stand up and say, not my daughter, dude. Yo, I just thought something so violent. I'm not encouraging anyone to do any violence, just so you know. Seriously, like, I really am not. But bro, that's all me have to say. So I'm thankful that although nothing came of it, that Jay has put it on record, because our mother can't save her, our stepfather can't save her, and I don't know where the daddy is. That's another thing. So that's to come back to that, because where is her dad? Where's her father? Like, what's going on? Now, I can say that, and, you know, but the truth is, in the real world, who knows? He could be in Jamaica. It might not be a thing where I could just come take him child. But growing up in Mandeville, do you know how many children I knew that lived with their father? Do you know? Seriously, like, the Jamaica that I grew up in, man never ran for take with them pitney. If you think it's joke, no. And I'm not saying yay or nay. This is just a fact. There were a lot of children living with their father. So England actually come and hear this, like, just the worst impression of men, specifically black men, because I knew a lot of men in Mandeville raising children. Whose dad has passed on? Who's that? Oh, by the way, I think I did put a new email in my description, so you can always email me anything. I'm also on, I'm on, but I'm not consistent. I'm on TikTok, the Feminine Mind Podcast, and Instagram. I don't always check the Instagram. You're better off on TikTok. But if you want to message me, basically, you can message me. And if you want to tell me anything or share a view, whatever. So on that note, I think that's me. We could have done like 20 minutes ago, but I realized I was having a nice time. And I'm sure if I watch the video at the beginning, I'm in a totally different vibe to at the end. But I just want to thank you guys so much. Thank you for being here with me. It's been great. And yeah, if you want documentaries about any specific things, like, let me know. I do want to do I think I'm going to do like a couple of Jamaica documentaries, just more nostalgic stuff. Like when I was a child, you get what I'm saying? I used to do? Eat sugar cane and get drunk. Or, these are some games that I used to play in my Jamaican childhood. Games like Stucky, or Sight in a Bone, or what the next one name? Chinese Skip. Do you remember Chinese Skip? I think it would be, I don't know if people will watch it, but I know that I would enjoy making it. And, I like the stories as well, because again, it's to keep things in balance. And as the culture has so many beautiful things, yes, it is a paradox. Yes, Jamaica is not a real place, but we are real people. We are real people. Also, for all the Caribbean countries, and, I'm sending my empathy to all men and women, whether they're on the islands or somewhere else. I know it's still maybe somewhat taboo to talk about these topics, but that's also the reason why the situation isn't changing. Because someone has to get up, do you get what I'm saying, and be vocal. And my issue is there were some things that I experienced in my teens and in my 20s. And I was pretty much like realizing that the stories that I was hearing, why, that's where my life was also heading. But what I never realized is the men, they're the predators. But the women, sorry, and I'm not anti-women. You know I'm not anti-women. The women, boy, they back them rape a bull man, them back them, they support them. And is it because they're loyal? No, it's usually because there's some weakness in their own makeup. Maybe they didn't work out who they really were. With Crissy and CMR, that is a husband and wife. It's very stereotypical. It's very disgusting. It lacks, do you get what I'm saying? It lacks taste. It's something that you remove yourself from, this kind of situation, point blank and period. Use the next 5 years to figure it out. Crissy is missing a basic component of herself. It's like she now have no self. And remember, that's what, with narcissists, like they're missing stuff. They can't feel empathy, not because they're just wicked. Do you get what I'm saying? They just don't have compassion. And it can cause them a very miserable life. They'll hurt a few people, don't get me wrong. But the long term of that, when you don't have any compassion, you will sacrifice your young teenage daughter for this crusty man. Are you serious? Like, and the next thing is, I don't even know what is scripturally applied to this situation, because I was thinking, so what scriptures applies to this? Oh, yeah. Then I remembered. So I can't remember the names of who it is, but there's a story in the Old Testament. I think it's Dinah. One of the prophets' daughter. So there was lots of brothers and this daughter. I think she was Dinah. Don't quote me. Yeah. They went somewhere and she, like a new village, new town, whatever. And one of the guys decided to like her, the strange guys, and had his way with her. I mean, it didn't sound, like violent, like maybe they just liked each other, but it did read that he took advantage of her. Now, I read this Ethiopian Bible. In the Ethiopian Bible, it says, and his soul joined to her. But in the modern Bible, I noticed it doesn't say that. So hence why I'm reading the Ethiopian Bible. Basically, you have some books, right, that have been taken out of the Bible, yeah, the mainstream Bible. So in the mainstream Bible, the story says, as a result of this, the prophet, whoever the prophet was, I feel like this is this pre-Abraham? I'm not even sure, but the prophet basically goes with his sons to these men, and the son them want to do the man them something, and the prophet says, no, we'll join them in marriage. Because the reason why I mentioned the soul was joined to her is because what the ancient scriptures are showing is that when you sleep with someone, your souls join. So they took it out. They take these weird little things out of the modern Bible. And I think, why are you taking that out? That's like removing this thing that people need to know, right? Cool. So the strange guy and his community, they all agree to the prophet, like tomorrow, yeah, we're going to get circumcised. We're going to become part of your community. I'm going to marry your daughter. Everything was set up perfect. And that night, the prophet's sons, without the prophet knowing, allegedly, well, in that book, he doesn't know, they go and they take everyone out. They take out every last one of them. Everyone that agreed that, yes, this is what we're going to do in the morning. We're with you, my brother. The next day, they never woke up when they went to bed. So in the book, I'm going to find out what book it is because it's relevant to this actual topic of child safety and SA and DV and all these things. So in the book that's in the King James Version, when the prophet wakes up the next day, he's like, no, do you get what I'm saying? We made an agreement with them. He was so upset with his sons, but guess what? I don't know what book it is. I need to think, what book is this? And it's not Judges because Judges is in this book. So it's not the book of Enoch, but it's another very popular one. Yeah, anyway. In the next book, in the Ethiopian book that's been taken out of the King James Version of the Bible, right? It have one next book basically talking about the same situation. And is saying that actually that prophet wasn't so vexed after all. So I thought this is so strange. Like, it's like two perspectives of the same story, like how you have the four gospels, right? But it's like two different narrations. But in one, when the brothers got up and said, oh, dare you do that to my sister, right? The prophet's like, no. But in the next one, he was celebrating. Because the reason why I was looking into this is because I know that within scriptures, yeah, there are, like, it may not list in Leviticus, don't do this with your daughter. It may not say that, like word for word, verbatim. But it will cover this stuff, and it will also have, so how do you deal with it? So the loophole here is, and this is why I'm telling you, Chrissy's getting judged now. Chrissy, this law that we have is a man-made law. And as much as it might try, it can never fully protect every victim. And judges, lawyers, solicitors, they are all fully aware of this. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's why they get so happy when there's a case where they have evidence. So unfortunately, for cases in this area, child safety, you creep. Like, this guy allegedly is trying to groom this girl, and he's being physical. She should have boxed him in the face. My mother used to say to me, which is another weird thing. She used to say, like, if any man ever come and be inappropriate with you, like, that was the one time when I had permission, yeah, to do all the bad things that I was told to never do. It was like, you can scream, you can step on his foot, you can anything, like, I can't even say everything, you understand? Anything, don't, if any man troubles you, this is what you do. But what I realized is, they have one like a saying, women like, name moat cut cross, where moat make for chat. And anyone can open up their mouth and tell their child that. And I do recommend that you tell your children that. And the reason, stick a pin, why I recommend that you tell your children that, you should still tell your children that, is because when girls started to come to me in my teens and my 20s, when them I tell me the whole story, like what happened with their stepfather, you understand, or uncle, or their sister's boyfriend, you get what I'm saying? There was just every possible thing that could happen, right? They always said to me that when the guy would like start, them wouldn't really know what to do. Like, I'm like, so did you say no, get off me? And she was like, no, this is an example. It's not a particular story, but I've heard a lot of like, no, I didn't even know what to do. I was so scared. And I realized when girls tell me that, even women to this day, I always ask them, what did your mother tell you to do? And every time I've asked a girl that, who had that experience while being a victim of SA, she tell me, say her mother never tell her to do nothing. So that's a problem. Do you understand? That's a problem. Now, if Chrissy had even told the girl that, look what happened. I don't think Chrissy told the girl that because Chrissy thinks she's too smart for her own good. Another thing that will never look acceptable is the fact that the daughter went to the school. I forgot I had this. Why did the daughter go to the school instead of... if I had censure, I should have reported my brother, not for essaying me. And I'm not laughing because women go through that, but for essaying a friend. And I thought that I should tell my mother, but really, if we didn't have the sense, and you know what's so crazy? I was older than Jay. I was like 50. You get what I'm saying? But should I go to the school? Should have sense. Puppet. I see my girl from OMG calling her Puppet. Puppet knows that he did it. So she knows that he did it. What is it? Is it that? No, and McCann, let me see what I said. She thinks that she can't function without him. She is lazy. Oh, I have lost all respect for her. Never put no one before your child. That me I say. Seriously, that's what I'm saying. What my girls say, and that me I work with. Listen, pull it. Let me stop it. This is why I'm too much chat. Once you said, what did you say? Now, I don't know who told me, but someone did say, oh no, they came out and said that the girl said she was lying and she renounced it and everything. Even if she's saying she's lying, man, something's not right. Something's not right. So I know the bedtime business can be nice for the parents, for the mothers. They've been at home all day, you know. I know there's social expectation. What do you mean you mash up with your husband? You know what I'm saying? Like, but you know, the only thing that's really real is you and the Most High and your children and even your partners. They're all real, but nothing don't come before the Most High. So if you really had that, you would know that if the Almighty entrusted you with a whole life, and your response is, okay, thank you, Father. Yeah, this is what I'm going to do with this whole life. You think that, and the thing is, I have to be careful what I say because I do understand marriages should stay together. Raise your children and go back to him if that's what it is, mate. Like, you have to literally have boundaries. This is the word I've been looking for all evening since I've been talking. Deal breakers, bro. Get some. People need, it's not just boundaries. Because, yeah, you have boundaries and someone, it's like a wall. Someone can run into that and you can say, yo, you run into, that's a deal breaker. So boundaries aren't actually enough. Hold on there. So I think it makes sense, Tatiana. Thank you, Tatiana R. Shelton. I think it makes sense that she thinks she can't function without him, which is so strange. Like, it's so strange. It's that sounds like someone who doesn't spend enough time meeting new people. You know, like having conversations with brand new people, just random people. It just sounds like she's in a cocoon for her to think, what can't she do without him? You know, she could protect her child. She's lazy. I never realized she was lazy. I thought she was literally like, you know, yeah. I'm on my YouTube grind, but I just pray that, you know, basically, I'm just like, well, when I see people do things like this and you see a couple of years pass, what you'll see will be so horrific. That's why I'm telling you, they need prayer. Okay. Keep doing what you're doing, however you feel to respond. I have prayed for the little girl. I don't know if I've prayed for them. Seriously, I'm like, yeah. Remember that obviously it's being highlighted on social media, but it's all around you. some of us need to get back into adopting other people's children. Yeah, that crossed my mind today. We can, you know that, I know it never worked out for the best for everyone, but I feel like my mom's generation and my grandparents' generation, they raised more people's children than what we do. It could be the economy. Like, they would have their own children, then someone's child for some reason, whether it was for a few years or for, like, you understand? Like, there's something about Jamaican culture. Oh, my grandfather sent this young boy go to school who lived on the road. You know what I mean? So we have to be open to even thinking about adopting people's children, because this is one of the reasons. I know a lot of people, they want to adopt babies, which I totally get that. But even with dogs, like in England, they discourage people, dog owners, from keep on getting puppies, you know, because there's a whole bag of rescue dogs that have been abused, mistreated, that need special care and attention. You get what I'm saying? And to be honest, me hear more people in the last 6 months tell me say them adopt more rescue dog than children. But the thing is, we all have our burdens to bear. 1 second. I'm definitely out of here now. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks for your presence. I'm sorry today this wasn't what I had planned, you know. I just decided as I was coming live, like, let's make this informal. And you know, let me just make sure that I'm just speaking from my own experience and the right that I have within my birthright. I have a right to talk about Jamaica. I have a right to talk about, as anyone online or offline, the children. I could come up here and I'm very strategic when I'm ready. I could come up here and, you know, this platform is not for sensationalism. Do you get what I'm saying? I could come in from entertainment, so much things. But I noticed when I came to speak today, I was happy because I actually did create this channel first and foremost to look into transgenerational ancestral trauma, basically. And I must say, this might be a new series that I'll start, that I might not even do on Thursdays, but the pursuit and the journey of trying to work out what are all these different factors that is part of this transgenerational. Now, the trans part is transatlantic. You get what I'm saying? Transit, where is such a deep culture, it continually, like a river, it bubbles up, right? It brings new life, new people, new foods. Come with me, that go school, me never hear about Barbie fried chicken. Do you get what I'm saying? Jamaican culture is a living thing. You'll have like a new word in the language. It's not a fixed thing like that. So it's bubbling up. Do you get what I'm saying? And it's bubbling up in the island itself. And it's bubbling up. When you're in the island, you're not praying how many people outside of this island are being directly influenced by someone in the island or from the island, and whatever they're experiencing is just because they're from that island. So because we move, we evolve, we go from country to country, we start to see patterns. Okay, what was your childhood like? Do you get what I'm saying? What was your mother's childhood like? What was your father's childhood like? Were they victims? Were they trauma victims? Like, before they were 10? I'm not joking. Like, okay, what was your grandfather's life like? I would dare you, if you don't already know, yeah, start asking them questions in your family and see if you can work out. Yeah, you need to know what's going on in your family tree. Like, see if you can work out. Like I could say to you, my mom is from Porus. My father is from Trenchtown. My mom lived like this. My father lived like that. Like I can fill it in. I already have in the documentaries. And I think what I need to do is to, before I go into the second season of the Life After Death documentary, I think I need to review some of the videos to like, okay, let's catch up to, because there are some changes, because some things that I was interested in, and specifically spiritually, I'm not interested in now. So I might need to even check it and just see, you know. But it's about the same exact thing that Jay is experiencing, but we don't know CMR side. Is it that CMR was touched in the Navy? You know, I had a client that became a friend. She is the head in the Pentagon. Yeah, I know this sounds so whack, but it's true. She's the head of the people who do counseling for the military. And apparently within the US military, there is a high level of SA, not just against women, but against men. Now, none of this is excusing anything. If CMR himself is a victim of SA, and a whole bag of things that you can be a victim of as a child that will perverse you and damage you, you know, perverse your body, your imagination, your poor memories, like, you know, put something evil and disgusting there that shouldn't be there. Even if that happened to him, this is the thing, you see, even if, and I'm not, you know, skeptical, even if it was a demon that rolled up and said, yeah, we're going to use you, CMR, to mash up this little girl because she got something inside of her. Can't have her doing what the Most High sent her to do. Oh, no. Even if it was a demon, which, again, I'm not skeptical of, even if, I don't want to say it, even if it was Satan his own self, guess what? You're still responsible. You still, even if there's a whole bag of supernatural stuff going on, which always is, this man is still responsible. But Chrissy might think that because she herself didn't, you know, do the deed, that she's somehow less responsible. She's something, no. And that's why I keep looking at the title. What Crissy Carter's response to Cushane Carter's arrest reveal about her psychology, her values, and her morals. It reveals that she's dunce. Because there's the psychology, that's one area you can't even empathize with your children. Maybe you're not naturally dunce. Maybe that was conditioned into you. But you don't respect yourself. You don't love yourself. And that's the reason why it's okay. You know, her values. What are her values? To me, she seems to be very materialistic. Now, I'm not saying because someone likes nice things, that means they're materialistic, because I like nice things. You get what I'm saying? But, you know, obviously, like growing up in Jamaica, things used to trend. That shoes, yeah, I wear, you know, everybody I wear the shoes. Obviously, now it's become more different. In the beginning, I mentioned that we have a self-esteem issue around money and anything that represents monetary success. That's a big part of the reason why Crissy and Cushane's channel is and has done so well, because a man will sit and watch that, and they might not be in an environment that even looks like where Crissy and Cushane are. Do you get what I'm saying? But it's something of to be celebrated, rather than you never try to feel up your data. That is what is to be celebrated. You understand? That's the reason why essentially they are still being supported, in my mind. I don't see any great impact in terms of value of, you know, a quote, you know, they're not impacting society to be more wholesome. There's a bit of, I guess it's natural because it's a online reality or a vlog. But sometimes when you are set up to show so much, be careful. You will be showing some stuff you don't know about yourself. You'll be showing that you don't realize that on all three fronts, morally, psychologically, and in her values, dance. Whether she's danced because she can't see herself, that's crazy, because she's a powerhouse. I thought she was a powerhouse of a woman. You understand? And even if she wasn't a powerhouse of a woman, I know many women who have. But stop being male-centered. And I think that's something that needs to be brought to Jamaican culture. I think it's good that they're married. Like, marriage is good. You get what I'm saying? But this story has sounded like it started from in the 1800s. This is a learned behavior. This is a trained thing. And I don't know. I don't know if the shoe were on the other foot and if Crissy had been arrested and charged. Seriously, I don't know. I don't know if CMR would have taken her back. Do you know? I don't think he would have. And I'm saying this to say it shows that she's a bigger yammer than him. Do you think that if the shoe was on the other foot and that report was made, if CMR even believed the report, you think I'm gonna get past that? I don't know. I don't know about that. So yeah. Anyway, that's me for tonight. Thank you so much. I don't want to go into an over ramble. I feel like I was rambling a bit today. I enjoyed it. I hope you don't mind. For me to be consistent on this platform, I just got to be flexible, basically. I had and I'm a woman, you know, so I have to go with my vibe. I know everyone has to go with their vibe, but you know, yeah. So I'm thankful because I did think if I come and chat and I'm just in this chilled, kind of tired, feel like I'm coming down with a flu, but I'm gonna fight it kind of a mood, how's that gonna go off? But I realized, like, I stayed away from my channel for a while. I think it's since the end of July I started to do more live streams with Eugenia. Big up Eugenia, anywhere you at. And I put the documentary out as well. And for me, it's really like, oh, is this what's going on in YouTube in 2025? Like, I'm still figuring things out. I do want to open a membership. I think that would be dope. I'm thinking about doing some, excuse me. Excuse me, I didn't even have time to mute the mic. I'm thinking about doing some interactive lives so people can come on and talk. So, voila, and there. If you have any ideas, let me know. And thanks again. Thank you so much. Big up yourself. I've been thinking about a name to call my audience. It's just been so weird. Half the time, I just want to change the channel name because someone will come up with a long time now. I was like, what do you call people who watch The Feminine Mind? I can't remember what OMG, she was calling her audience something and I quite liked it. Waganis, me wagane. I was like, what? This is a vibe over here. OMG, GG, Real Talk TV, okay? And I started thinking, yeah, it's about a year when I first created this channel, it was called Afro Belly. And I couldn't call my audience Hungry Bellies, but I was thinking, but now I'm not sure. So if you have any suggestions, this channel is not just for women, it's for those who want to think critically, analytically, rationally, logically, and also to exercise some understanding, wisdom, and discernment. So if there's a word that describes that, but that's what this channel is for. So big up on yourself, big up on a nice clean self. Thank you so much. My nose is just totally blocked up now, but it's been a pleasure. It's been a blessing. I give thanks and praises to the Almighty Father for he blessed me. Basically, I realized an hour before I was going to go live, oh my gosh, you're live in an hour. And the computer wasn't even set up. So I give thanks and praises to the Almighty. And if you're someone who is dealing with a healing situation from any form of violation, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, you know, as humans, we're vulnerable to what we don't know. So there can be many different violations. I pray you healing and wellness, and I pray that you be gentle on yourself and have compassion with yourself. And even if the world is sending out so many false broadcasts just to get you to focus on finances, and sometimes you have to just focus on finances because that's got to be done, but just remember that your wholeness is not monetary success, and a lot of people have a lot less than Chrissy and CMR, and their hearts are a lot more clean. So as far as values in our culture, we're definitely raised like, I don't know if we're raised, but there's a thing, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, like a show off kind of vibe. Yeah, show off your clean heart. And no matter who said what, it is better to have a clean heart. It's better to be whole and to be empathetic to the suffering of others, because even wild animals, yeah, seriously, gorillas, chimpanzees, lions, they take care of their young. So when you don't do that, or even try and do that, when you don't put your life on the line for your child, obviously you have to love yourself. But a wise woman once said to me, I'll close with this. Oh, what should I say? When you're driving a car, who's in the driving seat? Hear this one. When you're driving a car and you're with your child, and this car represents you and your child's life and where it's going, who is in the driving seat? And I was saying to her, no, I think it's the adult, basically. And this is just a saying, it's not an advice. But she was like, no, your child should be in the driving seat and you should be in the back seat, checking the road and moving them forward. And your life should be about moving them forward, not just about you. And she said, if you're an adult and you're in the driving seat, you're going to keep looking in the rearview mirror. You're going to keep looking back in life. And your child isn't trying to look back. Like, this is deep, you know, because your child is trying to. So if you put them in the driver's seat, I'll give you an example of what that can look like. If Jay was in Chrissy's driver's seat, CMR could no longer be in the car, because it's just her safety and wellness alone, because that's ahead of her. She's not looking in the rearview mirror back at Jay at the back of the car. Do you get what I'm saying? So I say that to say, life is not just about sacrifice. I do recommend people have balanced lives. So many people are just over-sacrificing for their children because they think that's how they prove, you know, something, which isn't, again, we're human. But I haven't seen anything wrong happen to someone from putting their child in the driver's seat. And the way how it would work for me, some weekends, some summers, I'm like, what do I want to do? And I might just want to chill out. And I think what would be really nice, healthy, enriching, educational, fun. What could happen in this period of time that if I wasn't just thinking about me, I might go and take her to an event, or you get what I'm saying? And I would just put her in the front seat, and then I got a lot of blessings that way. Because, yeah, when the Most High says, oh, you're putting that child in the front seat. All right, then. I'll meet you there. So I got a lot of opportunities because I was putting my child in the front seat. And I pray that you guys can do that too. So big up on yourself. Take care. I did want to do another live this week. Yeah. Either on Saturday or Sunday. Please let me know which one you prefer. In the evening on Saturday, like 10 p.m., which is, Lord of mercy, 5 p.m. Jamaica time. What's that? I don't know if that's 4 p.m. EST, but around that time. because I'm 6 hours ahead. This was going to be a warning video. It's a short warning video that I won't say just yet, but it is still connected to this whole topic. I need to put out a little warning video. So I will schedule the live. Thank you so much for your patience, for you never cuss me off for the reschedule of the last live. And watch me now. I'm going to fight this thing, and I know I'll be back. And even if I'm not 100, I'll still come, because it's all about what's on the mind. So take care. May the Most High bless you, cover you, protect you, guide you, keep those babies safe. Encourage your friend that's choosing her crusty man over her daughter or her son. Try and save her soul. Don't he? Try to save your friend's soul and your friend baby. And if you found yourself in that position where, as a woman or as a man, you've ignored complaints from your own child, some damage, it just depends on the person. Not every damage that you can come back from, but it's better to try than not to. Yeah, you're never too late. Healing can happen. Don't take up the toxic femininity in Jamaica. You have healthy femininity too, you know, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying all of the femininity in Jamaica is toxic, but there's a lot of it, and you know what it looks like. Don't take it up. Don't take up the toxic masculinity. They say he who stands for what? If you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. So on that note, blessings. Have a good night. I'll see you soon. Thank you so much. Please like the video. Please leave me a comment. Share with your friends. Have a conversation about it. Let's have some conversations about it. Thank you so much for all of the people who came through and commented. I appreciate it. I can see, I don't know how to scroll up on this, but I can see Tatiana, Nikki, Soas is by BWT, sorry. Donna McNeil was here earlier on, and Sexy San, Marie, Jungle, Dolores, big up. And yeah, thanks. I'm streaming on YouTube on The Feminine Mind. If you're over on Facebook, do come over and subscribe. I'm not sure if I'll keep doing the ones on Facebook, because I haven't posted on my Facebook since last week, and then I'm like live. And if you are over on The Feminine Mind on YouTube and you're on Facebook, you can follow my page. It's called Linnea. So yeah, give thanks and praises. We did it. And 2, 2, 2, 2. You see that? 222. I thought I'd be off within the hour. Yeah, give thanks. Take care, guys. Blessed love. Be well.